If you follow me on social media, you may have seen that I made a post about something that Dr. Stacy Sims said in an interview with Andrew Huberman. And I want to talk about why I made that post and give you a little bit of a deeper information into it. First off, I want to say I'm currently reading one of Dr. Stacy Sims' books. I've read Roar in the past. And although I agree with her on some things, there are other things that I disagree with her on. And I want to explain why. So Andrew Huberman asked her, because he gets asked all the time about women who are over 50, what they need to do for longevity and health. And her answer was this. For exercise, she said 3 days a week, 10 minutes jump training for bone density, heavy resistance training, and sprint interval training. And then when it came to nutrition, she said protein. All right. All of this is really great information, but I want to talk to you and I want you to start thinking about yourself as you are designing this. So for all of my perimenopause and postmenopause females, please listen and take notes. The information she gives is great, but it is generalized. That means it is not going to be right for every single person. And when it comes to training this age group, I'm in this age group, I'm postmenopausal. I work with a lot of perimenopausal and postmenopausal women at the training tool. And I can tell you that there is no way that I would take one of my ladies who is in this age group and immediately start them on jump training and sprint training. Now, I do push the heavy resistance training, but let me tell you why I would take a beat before I started them on the other things. We all need to be lifting weights. Every single person, unless you have some kind of a special, maybe a disability, disorder, disease, you might be in a different category. But general healthy people need to be lifting weights. We need to maintain our muscle mass and stay strong so that we can be good through life, right? But let me tell you about the cardio aspect. Now, she does not have guidelines. It didn't sound like to me like she was having people overtrain. I think she's smart enough to know that. But I also want y'all to know that she writes her books a lot of times for athletes. And depending on where you are in the level of skill and what you want to do, we may not need to be training like Olympic athletes, all right? If you're not trying to be an Olympic athlete, you don't need to do that. So, general healthy guidelines. Ladies, stop in perimenopause and postmenopause. You've got to stop stressing your body out. It's already stressed. And if you're out there doing a bunch of cardio, you are increasing the stress in your body. Now, don't stop listening. I'm going to explain what I mean by that and give you some guidelines to how to do it appropriately. So before I would ever start with any of that intense training, because sprint intervals are intense. If you're actually sprinting, that's a super hard pushing yourself until you're breathing heavy and need to take a break. Jump training can really be intense, especially if you're a beginner. So we would always start kind of slow on that anyway. But if you answer yes to any of these questions that I'm about to ask you, you don't need to start hammering the cardio. Number one, are you highly stressed? Do you have a highly stressed family life? Are you going through a divorce? Are you a caretaker for a parent or an elderly person that is a friend or loved one? Are you stressed about something in life? Maybe you have been diagnosed with a disease or disorder. What is going on in your life? If you right now would sit down and tell me, Amber, my stress levels are through the roof. Cardio needs to be down here for right now. Number two, how are you sleeping? Do you sleep well throughout the night? Do you get at least 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night? If the answer to that is, if the answer to that is no, I said the answer yes, but if the answer is no to that one, you need to put cardio down here for right now. Are you able to feel calmness, to relax, to sit and be still and restore without the mind going and your heart beating and being stressed and worried about things? Can you actually activate and get into your parasympathetic nervous system where you feel calm and you're breathing deeply? Or are you somebody who is struggling right now with anxiety and panic attacks? If you are struggling with those things, your cardio needs to be down here. Now, here's why. If you are a perimenopausal, postmenopausal female, you have naturally cortisol levels that are increased because of the change of your hormones, specifically when we look at estrogen and progesterone. They're like this. They're all over the place while you're perimenopause, and then they're lowering down when you get into postmenopause. That progesterone worked to help keep cortisol under control, and it's not doing that anymore. So you automatically are going to have higher cortisol levels. That means that our bodies at this point in life are already more stressed. Okay. Now, don't want y'all to get psycho about the cortisol because that's like a buzzword right now. Just know it's a hormone we've had in our body all this time, but it's unregulated for those of us who are postmenopausal. Now, with that in mind, if your cortisol levels are already increased, everything you do in your life that causes stress can have an effect on your cortisol levels. Again, we're not getting psycho about that. It's going to fluctuate and it's going to go up. I want you to just be aware of that. If you already are stressed, you're not sleeping well, your hormones are changing, and you're out here doing a bunch of cardio, you are just loading stress onto your body, more stress than it needs, which is sending those cortisol levels up even higher. So instead, I would love for you to switch your mindset to things that are going to help bring you calmness and restoration and relaxation. Doesn't mean that you can't ever do cardio again. It doesn't mean that you only can do yoga and deep breathing. I'm not saying that. You need to be exercising. You need some cardio for your heart, but right now we're not going to stress our body out. So here is what I would suggest for general guidelines for those of you that are thinking about this, and maybe you're reading her books and you're like, oh gosh, I got to start sprint training. I don't want you to sprint train yet. What I want you to do instead is to bring those cortisol levels down. What can you do to reduce your stress levels and the load on your body and mind? Now, don't turn me off and be like, oh, Amber, you just don't understand. I can't do that. I can't stop caring for the person in my life. I understand that. There are things, we're always going to have stress, but you've got to find a way to positively bring that back down. I'll share with you a couple things that have worked for me and many of my clients. I do a daily, at least 30-minute gentle walk. It is a look at the birds and, oh, let's find out what plant this is. Okay, it's a gentle walk to help reduce my stress. I like to do mine after dinner. It also helps with digestion, and it also is part of my getting ready for bed nighttime routine. So I just do a gentle, at least 30-minute walk every night. Going by yourself without a bunch of stuff in your head and in your ears is a great choice. I do sometimes walk with my awesome husband, and so we just have a nice talk while we're walking. Also, maybe you do need some yoga. Maybe you do need some deep breathing exercises. So what can you do? Where can you fit that into your life? Where do you feel like you have the most stressful times around that? That's where I want you to kind of tap into that deep breathing. The other thing is starting to focus on things you can do to help your sleep. So if you don't sleep well, remember that's when our body recovers. So you need to do something like have a nighttime routine. I just said that about mine. So I walk every night. I have a snack before bed that is designed to help me not get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom and then be up for forever. I sit and relax and watch a little TV with my husband. That's our downtime together. And then before bed, I get an actual book and I read a couple of pages so that my body can just settle. All right. And that's going to help with that sleep. I also try to go to bed around the same time every night and get up around the same time every morning. That's helpful to get into your circadian rhythm. So this is what I want you to work on, getting some of that stress down. And then your workouts do need to be heavy resistance training. And ladies, in the beginning, you're not going to start out with the super heavy weights. You're probably going to start with the little baby weights and just, body weight. But at some point, you've got to challenge your muscles so that they get stronger and that they are being challenged. And don't lift weights and then go run around and like do jacks and burpees and all this stuff. Don't do that. Focus on strength training and rest and recovery in between those heavy sets, and let your body feel what it feels like to push itself to get strong, but also have that recovery so you can come back and do it again. You also don't need to be doing high intensity workouts every single day, back to back to back to back. So if you're somebody who likes CrossFit, that unless you're going to be a CrossFit athlete, I don't know why you're doing those workouts, because they're stress, back to back. But if you really like that and that's the style of workout you want to do, give yourself a day or two rest in between, okay? So then once you start to feel better, once you're sleeping better through the night, you're getting more rest and recovery, once you can regulate when you have those anxiety moments, when you have those panic moments, when you feel yourself just being like, I just want to scream. When you can get to that point where you can regulate and get into a better place, that's when you can start adding in the cardio portion. But it still doesn't need to be cardio hard every single day. And while I'm on the cardio thing, there's no magic with the weighted vest, y'all. All right? Lift your weights. And you don't have to walk with a weighted vest. And if you're walking with a weighted vest and it's your recovery walk, you're doing too much. Take it off and just enjoy the walk. You build your bones with heavy strength training and with the jump training, which you will get to when you are able to regulate the stress that you have and you're able to get into your parasympathetic nervous system. So this is where working with a professional is going to help you. This is what we do at the training tool. We learn about you. We find out where you are in life. We talk to you about some of the red flags that we might see when your body is giving you those red flags that it does not need that intense, crazy exercise. I can tell y'all, I'm enjoying exercise so much more as a post-menopausal female, because I also work in the recovery and it's beautiful. Am I sore sometimes? Sure. Am I tired sometimes? Sure. But let me tell you, when I learned how to do this, how to get into my parasympathetic nervous system and calm myself down, I can't tell y'all what a change it is. I don't feel spent from my workouts. I feel good when I leave. And it's just a great place to be. So if you want help with that, let me know. This is what we do. I'm in the thick of it. Plus, I've coached hundreds of women through this. So reach out and understand, get on the heavy weight training, start that journey, but then let's wait on the cardio. And also, you do not need to be doing crazy cardio every single day. I know. You've gained weight, it's harder to get it off now, and you think running and cycling and swimming and step aerobics and all of that cardio stuff is what you have to do to burn the fat. That is going to keep you fatter longer if you're just going over and over and over and over again with that stuff. If you don't believe me, I can't help you. But do a little research, you'll find out. Because that's what I do on the back end. So hope you're having a great day. Remember, when you see all of these recommendations from people that you might trust. Some of them you shouldn't trust, but somebody like Stacy Sims, I think, is doing a great work out there. But you've got to make it work for you and where you are in life, and that's where you really need to be able to think critically through this, and having a professional like me to help you walk through those steps can get you there faster. All right, so if you don't want to do all the work on your own, come see me. I'll help you.